Hey guys, Jimmy here. This is Drummer Every Day, and this is the sheet music for Paramore's All I Wanted. I'm working on this. Yesterday I worked on the first four measures. So today, a solid 16 hours later or so, because I think it was a little later in the day yesterday, I'm going to look at those first four measures again. We're going to see how I can do with them, because I do kind of remember them. That's the thing about like really digging into something for 15 minutes, most of it talking yesterday, but even just a few minutes of really digging into something and it gets in your head. So I remember what the notes look like on the paper for the most part. I basically have those first four measures memorized, I think. That doesn't mean I am coordinated enough to play them, but I have a really good idea of what is supposed to be going on in those first four measures, so let's try it. Nope. Had it right up to the very end. That was supposed to be another kick on the end of four. Oh, and a kick on one. There it is. First four measures. Here's what I said yesterday. When you practice an instrument, you always end up wanting to be like, okay, I'm going to play it right 3 times and then I'm going to stop. Or I'm going to play it right at least once and then I'm going to stop. But I need the last thing that happens is for me to be playing it right. And like, in all honesty, I don't think it really matters. I think that that is something that makes you feel better about your session, makes you feel better about yourself. It makes you feel like maybe you can remember it right the right way because you played it the right way last. But it's actually the hundreds of times that you do it and get it mostly right, or mess up this part or that part. But it's the repetition. It's all the times that you did it that matters, not how the last time goes. That matters. So I knew I was going to come in today and I was going to be better at it than I was yesterday. And that's kind of this really cool thing that happens for me. I think it would happen for pretty much anyone. Obviously, we all learn differently, but I can leave a practice session feeling like I'm totally screwing up, totally can't get it, totally frustrated with it. Just walk away from it, come back the next day, and I've got it better. And that's part of the internalization happens. I don't know exactly how it happens. It's just a really cool thing about how our brains work and how practicing something works. So anyways, let's do this a couple more times. Nope. Sometimes for me, it's just like feeling like I'm a little bit out of control. I'm pushing myself a little bit beyond what I feel like I can keep up with mentally, and then it feels really cool when I end up the muscle memory kicks in just a little bit, and I get it. And it's like you're running downhill and you feel like you're about to fall the whole time, but you just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and then you make it. Or sometimes you fall flat on your face and you start over. But either way, for me, that's my process with music, is always pushing myself a little bit. If I fall, if I mess up, slowing it back down. But I really struggle, and maybe it is a struggle thing, maybe it's something I could do better, but I really struggle to keep it slow over and over and over again. I always want to push it a little bit more. And I'm okay with that. We all learn differently. Maybe I'd do better if I played it slow more times, but who cares? Memorization is a big part of it for me, because looking at the page, like it's like the memorization is helping and the looking at it is helping, and somehow I'm fusing those two things together so that in that little moment where I feel like I can't quite read it fast enough, I'm just taking a guess based on what I think I've memorized, or the muscle memory. And in the moments where the muscle memory is not pulling in quite fast enough, I'm like looking at it like, yep, that's, and just trying to hit it based off what I'm looking at on the page. But what the muscle memory is augmenting and helping me interpret and perform what I'm seeing on the page, because there's visually knowing that means that, but then there's also the physical component of doing that on the drums. And even if I could read it and know what I'm supposed to be hitting, if the coordination isn't there, it doesn't matter. So it's like both of them coming together, and it's super cool. I love it. All right, here we go. Nope. There we go. And sometimes you take just one measure and play it over and over again. Just the first 3 beats. There you go. And then for me, slowing it down again, like play it fast a couple times, then slow it back down again, and just kind of move all over the place with it. So, like I've heard sometimes you can play it slow, but you can't play it fast. That's what novice musicians think. Is like, well, I can play it slow, but as soon as I play it fast, I'm gonna mess it up. For me, sometimes it's the opposite. Like I can play it fast, but as soon as I try to play it slow, I mess it up. And you haven't mastered something until you can play it all speeds, all volumes, all accents, all styles. Like until you can play it forward, backward, slow, fast, any way you want, you really haven't mastered it yet. And it takes a lot of time to master something, but it's so fun when you have it and like, I can't mess it up, no matter what tempo, no matter what speed, no matter what volume, no matter what style music is being played over around it. I can't mess this up. I know it so well. Obviously, I'm not there yet with this, but anyways, so that was a okay, not quite that fast. Kind of really cool because I feel like even if I didn't add more measures today, even if I just stopped at practicing these first 4 measures some more, I can feel the progress since yesterday. And to me, progress is progress is progress. It doesn't matter what you progressed at, it doesn't matter how you progressed. If you are better than yesterday, that is valuable, that is cool, that is exciting. And so even if I stopped, like walked away right now, having done this for less than 10 minutes and most of it talking, I would know that I'm better than yesterday. And so that's really cool. I kind of want to get this even a little more solid, and that's the other really cool thing is like yesterday I'm like, man, this is taking so long, kind of not fun, but it's a little bit fun. And today I'm like excited, like I don't even want to play the next 4 measures because I'm actually excited that I'm getting better at these 4 measures and I want to just keep going. So that is how fast the transition happens when you start learning an instrument, when you start practicing something, even if it's not even an instrument. It's like it goes so quickly from having to drag yourself into the process to getting wrapped up in the process and like wanting to keep going longer. Like, I'm kind of getting hungry, but I just want to keep doing this. And that's like a super cool thing. And maybe people, maybe not everyone experiences it that way. Like, maybe some people are just automatically excited about learning something. For me, it's not like that. I have to make myself start. But then once I make myself start, I get excited about it. I have to make myself keep coming back to it until I actually am coming back to it because I want to come back to it, because I can't wait. I can't wait to get off work and come, play this. Just like when I was a little kid, it's like, I can't wait to get home from school and I can practice my instrument. So yeah, here we go. Yep. I guess I'm gonna keep going on now. The next 3 measures look really achievable. There's only one note that's different, and it's an extra kick on the 4th beat of the 3rd measure that isn't there the first time around, but otherwise everything's exactly the same, and then it gets crazy. So here we go. I got nervous there. I got too fast there. I just messed up there. I've done this like a bunch of times. What's going on? Oh, and then there's a new note here. And because I'm brand new to drum notation, I don't even know what it is. I think it has to be one of the toms. I'm not sure which one. It's represented by a G, or what would be a G on the treble clef. I don't see any other. There's got to be somewhere where there's a bunch of toms, like other toms, to compare it to, but I don't see. There's a B. So the B has got to be the highest tom, which means the G is I don't know. The G is maybe the next lowest tom, or maybe it's the floor tom. If you know how to tune toms, let me know, because people keep telling me to tune them, but I don't know how to. And I could look it up on YouTube, but I don't feel like it. Okay. I literally see no other notes besides the B and the G that could represent a tom. I would assume it'd be either an A or an F, because those are the notes that are left. And if it was an A, then I'd know that the G is lower, so it would be the floor. But if the other tom note was the F, then I'd know that the G would be the middle tom, because it's in between. But not seeing either any Fs or As anywhere in here, I don't know what to make of it. So I'm just going to assume that there is no floor tom in this song doesn't seem likely. It seems very unlikely. So, and the other thing is that the B is only literally a half step in actual music notation. It's only one drop below the C, which represents the snare, obviously, because it's placed on like the 3 of every measure here, basically. Obviously a snare. So if there's an interval that's only a half step below the snare, it's got to be the next drum down. So it's got to be this one. And then the next notation down is a G, which is 2 steps down, which leads me to believe that there's something in between, which would be the middle tom. So I'm assuming this is B, this is G, and there is no A in the song representing the middle tom. That makes more sense to me. So that's what I'm going to go with. And then we have this terrible phrase here with like a ghost note. I think I would assume that the parentheses represents a ghost note. 2 ghost notes in there, and I'm just gonna kind of not do anything with them, I think, right now, because I think that maybe that's above my skill level, or maybe I should just play them as regular notes, and I got to really slow this down a lot. So we'd have 1 and a 2 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and it had to start here. 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay. 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So 1. Then do I cross here? This is terrible ergonomic. This is terrible. 1 and 2 and, does that make sense? Or it could be 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and so 1 and 3 and 4. Ugh. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay. I'm really not sure how to do this, and I know people have criticized my drum layout, but like realistically, the drums are basically where they are in every other kit. Like cymbals you could complain about, I guess, because I just have them honestly placed. This one's placed in a fairly normal spot, I think. These ones, I didn't have another cymbal stand, so I just stuck them in this spot between where the toms are. And that's pretty random, but it's not really messing me up. So obviously, like, this sticking pattern is gotta be something that works for someone with drums in basically the same layout as mine. And I don't know what that would be. That's so weird. But maybe that's what they're doing. They're just better at drumming and reaching across and stuff. Or maybe there's something more simple, like that's it. One and a 1 that's rough. Stop it. Da. Nope, not that. Nope. Stop it. Okay. Okay. Now, what's that? Okay. Frustrating thing is the thing I'm having a hard time with is not something that should be hard. Like I'm getting a dung dung, but then I'm wanting to play here and here, and it should be here and here. And it's just like something about something makes my body want to hit these two toms at the same time instead of the tom and the snare. I think it's just like tom and tom, hit the tom and the tom. Couldn't possibly be the tom and the snare, but according to this music, it's the tom and the snare. And the stupid thing is that the stick is already in position to hit the snare, so I'm actually picking it up and moving it to a different drum instead of just hitting the drum that's under the stick. Why? There's that phrase. Yep. This is where memorization comes in, because if I'm trying to look at all those notes and read them, I'm getting lost. And I just kind of need to memorize it, and maybe reading it slowly, getting that muscle memory is how to memorize it. So. Okay. Not bad, I just missed. I aimed for all the right things, I just missed one of them. What? It's never started there. That's never been on the end of 4 either. What are you doing over there? Stop it. much. I have to do so many things in a row. And again, it's that transition, because I'm mainly a saxophonist, of hitting one note at a time to hitting multiple notes at a time. So like, I'm not missing any of the beats, I'm just forgetting some of the multiple things they're supposed to hit at the same time on certain beats, or ands of beats, or ahs of beats, or some combination thereof. Okay. Or I'm adding something that isn't there, because I'm like, oh yeah, the bass drum's supposed to hit too, but maybe not necessarily right there. Oh, and it's a feathered bass drum because it's in parentheses, so that means like ghost note, right? Sometimes those ghost notes, it's really interesting, because when you write out what somebody played, like, we don't know, I don't know at least, does the drummer of Paramore like write these parts out in advance and be like, I'm going to play exactly this, or do they have like a general beat that they're playing, and then they're playing around with it a little bit, and then sometimes you hit the bass drum, sometimes you don't, sometimes it's you hit the and, sometimes you don't. I have no idea just how choreographed the actual part is when the performer, the actual performer, the drummer with Paramore, plays it. So this may just be, like, it may be an exact part that he wants to play exactly this way, or it may just be how he happened to play it one time that got recorded. And so that's kind of a limitation of like transcribing. It's like, did he purposely put that ghost note there, or was he just kind of pumping the bass drum in general and happened to get a little tap on that end of a beat? So, and then you're trying to like practice this thing that like even that person maybe would have a hard time hitting, as a matter of like, I'm going to play it exactly that way. They just happen to kind of hit it that one time. So I don't know. So I'm like, and then it's like, should I practice that ghost note or should I not practice it? Because maybe it's just something that kind of ended up there, and maybe it's not really like part of the song. And I literally just don't know. So I guess I'm gonna practice it there because it's written there. But the likelihood of me actually hitting that and on the bass drum as a ghost note is basically zero. So that's why it's like, should I play it or not? Because maybe playing it as a full note, because that is what I'm going to end up doing. Like, I'm not going to hit it as a ghost note. And maybe just leaving it out altogether is actually more musical than playing it as a note that isn't really supposed to exist there as a solid whole note. So I guess either way, the point is I'm just going to like bulldoze through any musicality that existed when he played it. And so I'm just going to kind of interpret it in some straightforward way, and just playing it as a note is probably the easiest way for me to interpret it, because then I don't have to leave an empty space where I'm seeing a note written. So that's probably what I'm going to do. Not up there, gosh darn it. Yep. Yep. There's where I felt a little out of control, and I was just running downhill trying not to fall, and I somehow made it to the end. And then the cool thing about that is, like, just like running downhill, you feel like you're out of control, but then you gradually realize you do it several times, you don't fall, you're like, oh, actually I'm just a little more coordinated than I realized I was. Like, I am getting more coordinated. It still feels out of control, but there is coordination happening. And it's not just a miracle every time. Like, there is actual learning happening. There is actual body memory happening. So, okay. Yeah. Nope, too fast. It's like a little bit of trust of yourself, a little bit of going out on a limb, a little bit of being like, I'm just going to trust that I'm going to try and I might get the right things. Or being like, I know what's supposed to be there. I'm not sure if my body can do it yet, but I'm going to try anyway. Yeah. Getting there. This is another spot where I'm like, I know that if I stop now, it's going to kind of feel like I didn't really get it. But when I come back to it tomorrow, I'm going to be in a way better place starting off than I was when I started off today. This is kind of catch-22 where I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back. I'm going to try to play it all together. And then it might make me feel worse about myself because I'm pretty happy with what I just accomplished. Now I'm going to try to put it all together and it might fall apart and I might just feel worse about myself. But it doesn't matter because tomorrow, all of the times that I played it are going to have made me better. So. Yeah, something like that. Okay, I was not playing it up to speed, and I played like the rest of it up to speed, and all of a sudden I was like, oh gosh. Actually pretty close. Well. Part of faking it in music is just staying on beat, being like, I slaughtered everything, but I at least slaughtered everything at the right tempo. And then you can right on one, pretend like none of it ever happened, because for all your audience knows, none of it ever happened. You're just fumbling around, but what the heck, you hit stuff and you ended on one. Sounds pretty good to the average person, including myself. It's been 33 minutes. That's 33 more minutes than I've spent any day prior to yesterday on learning sheet music for the drums. So even though it feels like I didn't make a lot of progress today, I'm going to rest peacefully in the knowledge that I did make progress. And I can always do more later, but I'm done for now.